Jumping in here to let you all know that my commissions are open, so if you want an angel kill illustration, now is your chance. We can dominate the world with these silly, stupid chibis. Now, let's get back into the video. Hello, how are you? In this video, I'll be drawing a comic both traditionally and digitally. I'll be showing you my whole process from sketching to coloring. What you'll actually see next is some traditional footage after a while of not doing that. So let's start with the actual sketch now, shall we? Okay, so just follow me along for this one. I've had this idea for a while now because I tend to use a digital art style from time to time to make things easier for myself, since it's easier for me to just draw traditionally but color it in digitally because it's a lot more convenient, right? You can just like put whatever you want. So I've had this idea. What if, okay, you make a comic, but you draw it traditionally but color it in digitally. You get what I'm saying? You get it? You get it? So I divided a random printer paper into 3 long pieces because, you know, webcomics tend to be like in this longer format. I actually had measured the pixel size from the place that I usually see comics in, which is Tapas. They tend to use a 950 pixels canvas, like in its width, which would equal to 6.82 centimeters. I don't talk in inches, okay? I'm normal. I just decided to go with 7 because it's like close enough and it gives me a bit of space there so that I can like make mistakes, whatever. I divided like this piece of paper into 3 long panels. I will draw with this. Okay, this is an idea. I was going to continue it, but I'm just going to go with my head here because I've had this idea for years now. I know it very well. I'm going to draw that here, take a picture, import it digitally, color it in. So we will do that now, I guess. My idea is this tree. I cannot draw this on YouTube. You know, we will do something. I will figure that out. So what will I do? I have no idea. Let's just do as I do, which is just draw stuff really quickly. My idea is, I mean, it's not just my idea, right? Comics should be drawn quickly. So we have to do that. How? I have no idea. Do I look like someone who draws fast? No, man. I mean, technically I do. Do I draw fast? I think so. Technically. If we speak of technicalities, if we compare myself to other artists out there, I'm quite fast. If we compare myself to myself, which would be the actual way to do comparisons in this case, I am not as fast as I used to be, so that's something. I guess. You gotta draw the roots. The roots, this tree is important. How important? Now you're asking too much. You're just trying to get that information out of me, aren't you? Funny little guy you are. I'm sure that you're actually like completely silent. You haven't said a word this entire video, but I'm here pretending that you are. I'm like the opposite of Dora the Explorer. No, wait, Dora thinks that you answer too, right? Oh my god, am I Dora? No! Oh no, she's like my greatest enemy in life. I don't want to be her. Not now. Now that I'm finally so far away from that era of my life. What era? Childhood. It's called being an adult. Guys, I start recording these traditional videos and I become a different person, okay? I'm not okay. So, how do artists do stuff? That's my question. And I think that we're all asking ourselves that. How do artists do stuff? We do not know. No one, not even the artists, know how they are doing stuff. You know what's funny is that there is absolutely no text. They just say nothing. They're just completely silent this whole time, this whole beginning. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's depending on your point of view. On my point of view, that's not the worst thing to ever happen. It's the thing, right? Show, don't tell. They just don't say a thing. Everything has its limits. Maybe I should change that. Maybe. Will I? I've been trying to. Have I? Not at all. Haven't even opened the archive where I've written stuff. What have I written? You're trying to get information out of me again, you silly little fellow. This right here I cannot draw, okay? If you know what it is and why I cannot draw it, then you stated that I didn't make any sense. You just keep that to yourself. So, after it scrolls down, we see this, so we need to draw that, which means that we need to draw that. Funny, right? Funny how that goes. You know what I also want to add? Because this whole thing, okay, the Cherry U story, which is what I'm drawing right here. Cherry U, you know, Pekluva, Purgatory Corrupted. That's what I'm drawing right now. It was supposed to be in this watercolor style because it's very much, well, the style of it is very much based on the works of Ida Rental Oathwhite, Australian fairy tale illustrator. So I want to try and imitate watercoloring, but digitally, okay? I have some brushes, I've done it before, that's how I made the actual cover. We'll see. I also want to import, okay, follow me on this one, import a, stop moving, watercolor paper texture. Why? Is that necessary? Jesus Christ. And multiply, well, not multiply, put that image on multiply mode to add on top of the photos and just sort of do that. I just don't know how well it'll blend in like when I go from page to page, right? So we'll see in that case how that goes. But first we have to actually draw the thing, right? So, you know, I missed actually recording traditional stuff. I haven't done it. Why? Because I didn't have a sketchbook that isn't this. This is the reason why I haven't recorded anything. This is also the reason why I've been making a lot of shorts. I mean, a lot is a strong word. This is why I have weekly shorts. But despite that, I've actually made myself a new sketchbook, so I'll be able to start recording again some random stuff. So let's finally do that. I love making traditional videos. They're easy to make. Very easy, convenient. We love that. We love traditional, okay? You know, if it were for me, if I had to choose digital or traditional, I would probably jump off a bridge. I don't know, I love both. Both are just the love of my lives, okay? I can't just choose one. That's just pure evil. Every single time I say that, it reminds me of Class of 09. Is it a bad thing that I've watched the gameplays of that so many times to the point that I can actually, like, say, you know, the actual lines of the characters? Probably. It says a lot about me. I hope it doesn't say something bad. You know, actually, since we're on the topic of Class of 09, you want to know a scary thing? Because, like, Class of 09 is a game, a horrible story, right? It's actually insane. It's, like, rage bait content of just pure... everything bad, okay? Everything bad's in that game. Is it bad that it reminds me a lot of the people around me? You don't even imagine how many Nicoles I've met throughout my life. Plus, like, the school they're in reminds me a lot of the school I grew up in. And that's not a good thing. Let's just say that. That is not a fun experience. Just saying the... you know, I won't say more. Okay, I won't say more. And people should just look at this pure, like, masterpiece. Nothing better has ever been drawn. So imagine, like, there is a beeping, okay? beeping. I'll add it here so that I don't forget. This, that's true, I wanted to outline. This is a Faber-Castell Multimark 421S permanent op CD, glass, plastic, metal, etc. S for small. Resistente al agua para superficies lisas, waterproof for smooth surfaces, wasserfest für glatte Oberflächen. Yes, I speak all of those languages. Now we have an issue because this right here should be drawn here because this is long. Okay, this is basically mixed in with this one, so how am I going to do that? I have no idea. Let's just like, first of all, like finish this. Why don't we finish that, right? You know what? I should add spiralies. This is a fantasy story, so what reminds me of fantasy? Spirals, so we gotta include that. Somehow, that'll be fun. I also imagine that using a traditional line art will give it a very, how do I say it? It's not organic feeling, just very, I don't know, magical. I want that look, okay, that Ida Rental Off-White has. Yes, I have to say her entire name. That's honestly the only way for me to remember her actual name. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. If I'm not, I'm sorry, but she's probably dead. I don't think she'll mind, okay? I'm sorry to all the Australians though. Is she Australian? I think she is. I don't even remember that well. I went after like her story because I want to know who she was. She draws really well, or better saying she drew really well. And I think that she was Australian. My memory is mush, okay? For the past few months, every single day of my life has been exactly the same. I live every single day as if it was yesterday, and tomorrow will be the exact same as today. My life is just very normal, I guess. And very repetitive. And then I wonder why I'm going insane. I wonder, oh my god, what if I added a little layer of like grass here and then like drew, you know, like layers. That's actually fun. I'll draw that. Just like a little grass here. And then it like shows the actual like layers, like just some layers, you know, like look at that. Hell yeah, now we've got more detail than we had before, and then like we add some more stuff. Imagine these are rocks, okay? Just imagine, use your imagination, okay? That's why you have a brain. If you don't, then I'm very sorry. We're exactly the same then. So now we have this, and I'm really trying not to do this right here because how will I do that? I could add some panels, I guess. Oh, what do I add? You know, if I were to do this right, I would actually write the script out, which is what you should always do before starting any big project. At least have like an outline of middle, start, end. I don't know why I started with the middle in that phrase, but sure. So that you know, right, what you're actually doing and what else goes into a story, I guess. Honestly, I don't care much if the anatomy is like absolutely correct, so that's fine. I always mention that I like a bit of jank. Okay, I love myself some jank. Jank is cool. People should like jank more. You know, I wanted to experiment with this digital style. I don't know how to speak, I guess. I've done this before. In the past, I've done this like comic that you see somewhere around the screen there. In my sketchbook, colored it in digitally and lived my life afterwards. It was a bit complicated though. to do. I don't remember why. It just required a lot of work. On the coloring part, the drawing part was easy. I always draw like mini comics in my sketchbook, so I'm excited to actually go do that again. Now that I have like a bigger sketchbook than this. This is great for thumbnailing, like you can see here. But for making actual like bigger stuff and like actual sketches that you're like wanting to experiment with something or trying out something that's bigger and not just like random scribbles, not very good for that. But overall, it's fine, I guess. You wanna know a not so fun fact? A lot of times when I'm making these videos, I actually have to stop talking for a second because I start losing my voice. I'm not used to speaking at all, actually. I mean, I'm not used to speaking, neither am I used to drawing, I guess. I have no idea what's going on right there. So if there are parts where I'm just completely silent, that is why, because I'm losing my voice. I'm trying not to cough my life out. I love Huion because she is just so easy to draw, which is the intention with her design, right? It's supposed to be very easy, so that it is repeatable, because my idea was to make a comic out of this. Now the thing is, though, to make Huion's design more interesting, I had actually added like a bunch of dots and whatnot, so those are technically not hard to draw, they're just extremely annoying. I could just like honestly scribble all over her design. I know sort of how it goes, the pattern, so it shouldn't be difficult. You want to know another interesting fact? Because I want this to be in this like traditional style, but I also had bought a 3D program so that I didn't have to draw the background for this, and that was 2-ish years ago. At some point I should make a video about that. I will. I don't know when, but I will, okay. Using like 3D backgrounds for comic making. That's a plan. So then the door opens. This door right here, it will open. I really like the way that this is drawn, so. I don't want to show the doctor's face though, that's another thing. Comic drawing makes me remember how I drew as a little kid, which is very simply and stupidly. But I think that it's silly, but in a very good way. And like add these lines to show like he is moving. And after this she gets up. And here we will draw Cherry. So after this, I will line all of this, take a picture of this, import it digitally, then we'll color it, okay? You'll just have to trust me on this one. First, we'll be making the canvas for the actual drawing, right? As I mentioned before, it'll be 940 pixels wide, and as long as we want it to actually be, what you'll see me do is only make it as long as 2 of my strips because I don't actually color in the third one. But I do want to at some point to see if I can make them fit together, being 2 different images. So after that, we put our picture on multiply and just color beneath that layer. We leave the actual picture layer on top of the rest of the whole illustration, right? Just so that we don't cover it up, unless we want to cover it up and like fix some things here and there or whatnot. I actually have an old tutorial teaching how I color in my traditional sketches if you want to check that out. I say old, but I think that it was made at the beginning of this year. So it's not really old, it's just old as in the standards of today's society, I guess. My pictures fit in together with one another easily since I took some really nice and bright pictures with high contrast. So the whites are very white while the line art is very line arty. You will see that the top part is still censored because I cannot show that. So I'm sorry about that. To color it in, I wanted to give this fake watercolor look, so I'll be using a brush pack called Pisces Watercolor Brushes, I think is the name of this brush pack. They have a very natural watercolor look to them. Some of these brushes are actually a little bit confusing, if I have to say so, but just painting with them is very relaxing. It's this nice experience that you're just, you know, having fun and chilling instead of going like sketch, then line art, then base colors, then shading, then rendering. You know, it's the same annoying thing every single time, and I wanted to avoid that this time, and this helped me do that. I also wanted to give this gradient from normal world colors to purple, so you'll see me make the top part like greenish and bluish and just have this, you know, everyday outside world look, and then as it goes down into the dirt it turns more purpley. If you didn't know, the world of Pekluva is extremely purple. I actually still really like this old 2022 drawing of the city of Pekluva. I might actually have that time-lapse still up on my channel, which is terrifying to think about. But I've been doing this for a while now. But you know, I wanted that look, and even though here Cheryu isn't exactly in Pekluva yet, I wanted it to start looking purpler. Is that a word? I'm sure it isn't, but now it is. I have faith that in the end, when I zoom in and scroll down, all of this will look coherent and cool, like an actual webcomic. Like the transition of brown hair to red hair. That one is crucial to look good, okay? We need that one to look extremely nice. Overall, this just took a lot of layering. Since these brushes do imitate watercolor really well, they're very transparent, just like watercolor is in real life. I did start with a purple layer below to make everything in that coherent purple hue, you know, make everything like look purple. How many times can I say purple at the end of the video? Who knows? I don't know, there isn't much to say, not even they say anything, at least not in the beginning of this whole story. Like, what else can I say? After putting down my base colors, I do add a layer of multiply on top to intensify some shadows and, well, actually add some shadows too. But I don't know. Also, the little action panels I color in on a separate layer to make things easier for myself, since these brushes do blend in together and don't really layer that well one on top of another. Despite things looking funny, I think it does look cute, and I'm happy with the actual final result of this. I do like how this turned out. When I open the picture and I zoom in and start scrolling down like an actual webcomic, like pretending I'm on a website or something reading it, it does actually look like a webcomic, so I'm happy about that. So I guess I achieved what I intended to do. You know, I did wonder whether I should publish these 3 strips on Tapas, but I decided against it, for now at least. Why? 1, this would require too much work. 2, if I were to make a webcomic at some point, which I still want to do, I would end up doing the Pekluva comic, and I think it would end up being a little bit confusing having both of them. Sure, I could add it like in a test thing or whatever, I don't even know, like call it a test or something short. I don't even know. I could like put a name on it that would sound different from if I were to make the actual comic so that things weren't confusing. But I don't know, I just didn't want to put myself through that. I just didn't feel like it. So, I don't know, drawing all of this comic stuff, you know, with the first comic I attempted to make a few days back, and now this digital one, it just really makes me want to revisit the Little Miss Future comic, you know. Wink wink, insert wink wink, you know. I don't know, I just like how this turned out, and I'm happy with it, and I like scrolling down. I need to see if I am able to actually do the scrolling down effect on here without everything falling apart, and I don't know, I just need to make this look cool and nice. Either way, I hope that you actually understand what's going on. If not, then I don't know. You can also tell me down below what you think is happening here in these little strips. You could also like see the third strip of what I was going to make that I didn't actually color in at the end, so that you have more of an idea of what's going on. But either way, I hope you have a nice day and night, and I hope to see you next time. I hope you enjoyed following me along in this little comic making. I will definitely be making more of these since I've been really into that lately. And I hope to see you next time. I don't know if I've already said that, I might have. Bye! Have a nice day!